In the world of rock and roll, there are legends, and then there's Jerry Lee Lewis. Born on September 29, 1935, Jerry Lee Lewis was not just born into a world eager for music, he was born into a world that was about to experience a revolution in sound. And at the heart of this revolution was Ferriday, Louisiana, an unassuming town where the music of the church was the soundtrack of everyday life. It was here that Jerry Lee Lewis, son of Elmo and Mamie Lewis, found his first love: gospel music. Church hymns, spirituals, and gospel songs were the first sounds that filled young Jerry Lee's ears, shaping his musical palette and igniting a passion that would last a lifetime. His parents recognized his talent early and scraped together enough money to buy him a piano. His mastery of the piano became evident at a young age, setting him on a path to musical stardom. The 1950s saw the birth of a musical revolution: rock and roll. As the world was recovering from the tremors of World War II, a new sound was emerging from the heartland of America. It was bold, it was rebellious, and it was about to change the music industry forever. At the forefront of this revolution was a man from Ferriday, Louisiana, Jerry Lee Lewis. With a piano as his weapon of choice, Jerry Lee Lewis stormed the musical scene like a hurricane. His electrifying performances and wild personality made him an instant sensation. But it wasn't just his charisma that set him apart. No, it was his unique blend of gospel, country, and rhythm and blues that made him a pioneer. Jerry Lee's style was unlike anything the world had seen before. He didn't just play the piano, he attacked it. He made it wail, he made it roar, and he made it rock. His frenzied performances, complete with kicking the piano bench and playing the keys with his feet, were nothing short of spectacular. He was a showman, a performer, and above all, a rock and roll superstar. But it wasn't just his performances that left a mark. His music was groundbreaking too. Songs like "Whole Lotta Shaking Going On" and "Great Balls of Fire" became anthems of the rock and roll generation. His music was the soundtrack to a time of change and rebellion, and it resonated with young people all over the world. Jerry Lee's impact on the music industry is immeasurable. He helped shape rock and roll into what it is today, and his influence can still be heard in the music of countless artists. He was a trailblazer, a risk-taker, and a musical genius. Jerry Lee's style was rebellious and unpredictable. He was a force to be reckoned with, and even though his personal life was marked by scandal and controversy, his music has withstood the test of time. As we look back on the life and career of this rock and roll pioneer, we can't help but marvel at the legacy he has left behind. Jerry Lee Lewis, the wild child of rock and roll. But along with fame came controversy. Jerry Lee Lewis was no stranger to scandal, and his personal life often found itself in the limelight, sometimes overshadowing his musical genius. His fiery performances and wild antics on stage were just the tip of the iceberg. Off stage, his life was a whirlwind of controversy that kept him in the headlines. One of the most notorious scandals was his marriage in 1957 to his 13-year-old cousin, Myra Gale Brown. This revelation sent shockwaves through the public and the music industry. The marriage was not only controversial due to their blood relation, but also because of the significant age difference between them. Jerry Lee was 22 at the time and Myra was still a child. The fallout was immediate and severe. His tour of England was cancelled after just 3 concerts, and he was virtually blacklisted from radio airplay. His career, which was soaring high with hits like "Whole Lotta Shaking Going On" and "Great Balls of Fire," took a nosedive. His popularity plummeted, and he was seen as a pariah in the industry he had helped to shape. But the controversy didn't end there. His subsequent marriages and divorces, along with allegations of substance abuse and erratic behavior, continued to keep him in the public eye for all the wrong reasons. Yet, despite the controversy, Jerry Lee's talent was undeniable. His bravado, his flair for the dramatic, and his piano-pounding performances were game-changers in the rock and roll scene. He was a trailblazer, pushing boundaries and challenging norms, both in his music and his personal life. And somehow, through all the scandals, Jerry Lee Lewis managed to remain a force in the music industry. Even when he was ostracized from the rock and roll scene, he found a new home in country music, charting multiple hits throughout the 60s and 70s. His determination and resilience, coupled with his undeniable talent, allowed him to weather the storm of scandal and controversy. His story serves as a stark reminder of the dichotomy that often exists in the world of fame and fortune. On one hand, there's the public persona, the performer who wows the crowd, the artist who creates the music we love. On the other, there's the private individual, whose personal life may be fraught with challenges and controversy. In the case of Jerry Lee Lewis, both sides of this coin were equally fascinating. He was a man of contradictions, a rock and roll pioneer whose personal life was as tumultuous as his music was electrifying. The scandals and controversies surrounding Jerry Lee Lewis threatened to derail his career, but he always managed to bounce back. His life is a testament to the enduring power of talent, the allure of controversy, and the indomitable spirit of rock and roll. Despite the ups and downs, Jerry Lee Lewis has left an indelible mark on the world of music. His legacy, like his piano playing, is powerful and enduring. The man they called the Killer did not just play rock and roll, he embodied it. His unbridled energy, untamed talent, and unapologetic spirit have forever etched his name in the annals of music history. Jerry Lee Lewis was more than just a musician, he was a force of nature. His explosive performances, marked by his frenzied piano playing and dynamic showmanship, set a new standard for what a rock and roll show could be. He was a wild child, a rebel, and a trailblazer, and his impact on the genre cannot be overstated. His influence extends far beyond his own career. The echoes of Jerry Lee's pounding piano and fiery vocals can be heard in the music of countless artists who followed in his footsteps. From the rockabilly rebels of the 60s to the punk rockers of the 70s, from the grunge bands of the 90s to today's indie rock artists, Jerry Lee's spirit lives on. It's not just his style that has made a lasting impact, but also his songs. With timeless hits like Great Balls of Fire and Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On, Jerry Lee has given us anthems that have become synonymous with the spirit of rock and roll. These songs, characterized by their raw energy and infectious rhythms, have stood the test of time, continuing to inspire and excite new generations of music lovers. And then there's his resilience. Despite the numerous controversies and personal crises that threatened to derail his career, Jerry Lee Lewis never stopped rocking. His ability to weather the storms of his life and continue to perform with the same intensity and passion is a testament to his enduring spirit. In many ways, the story of Jerry Lee Lewis is the story of rock and roll itself. It's a story of rebellion and redemption, of passion and perseverance, of rhythm and resilience. It's a story of a man who, despite his flaws and failings, became a legend through his music. Today, Jerry Lee Lewis stands as a towering figure in the world of music. His legacy is not just in the songs he wrote or the performances he gave, but in the spirit he embodied. He was, and remains, the embodiment of rock and roll, a man who lived his life with the same reckless abandon that characterized his music. From Great Balls of Fire to Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On, Jerry Lee Lewis's music continues to rock the world. His legacy, like his music, is timeless. And as long as there's a beat to be played or a tune to be sung, the spirit of the Killer will live on, rocking the world with his music. Jerry Lee Lewis, rock and roll's wild child, a man who defied conventions, conquered controversies, and rocked the world with his music. This wild child of rock and roll, born in the heart of the Deep South, rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most influential figures in music history. His unique blend of piano virtuosity and electrifying energy revolutionized the genre, while his tumultuous personal life made headlines. Yet, despite the ups and downs, the scandals and controversies, Jerry Lee Lewis's indomitable spirit and remarkable talent have ensured his place in the annals of music. His influence echoes through the generations, his music continues to inspire, and his legacy endures. A true pioneer and a living legend, Jerry Lee Lewis will forever be remembered as the Killer of rock and roll. Thank you for your subscriptions and comments. Your support is crucial in enabling me to create more content.